actually still have some folks trickling in, but I am going to get started. So many of you are here on time, and it's wonderful to see you. And I know it's a busy Tuesday night. So let me introduce myself. My name is Jackie Davis. I'm your facilitator, and I'm here with all of the staff from Marin Healthy Youth Partnerships. We're the organization that hosts Let's Talk and the Let's Talk discussions. The discussions are actually based around booklets, physical booklets that we used to distribute into schools to families that were all about helping families support their teenagers in navigating substance use. In the past year, we've been able to move all that content online onto a website, super easy to navigate, also easier to get bite-sized pieces of information. So we'll put that link into the chat as well so that you're able to go ahead and access that information and know that those original booklets are still available to download on that site if that's your preferred way of going through information. But we are so lucky that as Let's Talk has grown, we get to be here together in community with folks who really have a lot of wisdom, and tonight, a lot of wisdom right here from our Marin community. So we're really excited that tonight we're going to be exploring tools that strengthen connection and communication throughout the middle school years. We're going to walk away with actionable steps we can take to create a supportive and safe environment for our kids, tailored to the really unique needs and unique personalities of our middle school students, eye rolls and all. We can get through it with a little bit of support. And tonight, our support comes from Jenna Hermans. She's an award-winning author, a coach, and a mom of four, so a brave woman, including three teenagers. So she really does understand firsthand the ups and downs of parenting through the middle school years. She has a degree in developmental psychology, a master's in organizational management, and she's all about blending research with real world strategies that help us as parents and caregivers to go forward with really good communication and confidence during this stage of development. She also is a former preschool owner, a parent educator, and is passionate about equipping us with practical tools to navigate challenges. So I am super grateful you are here. Before we hear directly from Jenna, though, we know parenting can be a really sensitive topic. And for a lot of us, when we're in these discussions, a lot of feelings come up. It's really, really normal. So we hold agreements that we keep for compassion for ourselves and for each other. And I'm going to turn this over to Lisa with Marin Healthy Youth Partnerships to share those agreements with us.
Thank you, Jackie. Good evening, everyone. Parenting is not easy, and parenting around substance use is hard. There's no silver bullet, so we try to give you information that you can incorporate into your parenting style to do the best job you can. We're all learning together. Please do not blame yourself for anything that you did or didn't do based on what you learn here tonight. Let's make this a safe space to share ideas and learn while not judging others or giving advice. Self-care is essential in our world now more than ever. Please join us for the full time if you're able. Back to you, Jackie.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa. I really appreciate hearing those every time. We will have time for questions and answers. We save the Q&A until the very end. If you've just got to get it out, you can put it in the chat and we'll take note of it to come back to at the end of our time together. And I don't want to take up any more time. I want to hear from Jenna, so I am going to pass it off to you.
Thank you, Jackie, for that introduction. And thank you so much to Marin Healthy Youth Partnerships for having me here today. Just as an FYI, I am a touch under the weather. So if I cough in the middle of the presentation, just know that I don't have the plague and it's not transferable or contagious through the screen. So we are all in a healthy spaces. But apologies ahead of time if I cough in the presentation. So just, I want to start by saying it's an honor and a pleasure to be speaking with all of you today about connection during the middle school years, which is a very challenging time. And before we get started, to reiterate what Jackie shared, I just wanted to share a little bit about myself so that you know where I'm coming from. As Jackie has shared a little already, I'm the co-founder of Be Courageous, which is a global transformation agency And we work around the concept of courage, bringing that into organizations. We have the world's largest study on courage. And we bring that into not just in the workplace, but also in every area of life. What makes a courageous person, right? And parents, every day we are being courageous as much as we can be, right? You kind of have to be as a parent nowadays. I have a Bachelor of Science in Developmental Psychology and Master's in Organizational Management, which I have used in not only organizations and in the preschool I've worked in human resources and learning and development, but in so many other arenas as well. As a coach, speaker, and facilitator, I tend to work with women, with mothers in these spaces, that high performing parents who are trying to navigate so much and so many different challenges in this world. I've written 2 books, an award-winning book called Chaos to Calm, 5 Ways Busy Parents Can Break Free from Overwhelm, and Burnout to Balance, which takes the core concepts of chaos to calm, but puts them into the workplace as well. And yes, I have 4 children, and I have survived the middle school years thrice over. So, and each one gave me a very different experience. So let me tell you, middle school, there is no one way, right? Whether this is your first time going into middle school, you've been in it for a while, or you have another second or third kid going through, it's never the same. But there are things that we can do to show up to support the experience for them, for ourselves, harnessing on our self-care. Thank you, Lisa, for that. And all the above. So I'm really excited for us to talk about this really intense and transformative stage of childhood, because it's not just for our kids, it's for us as parents too. Melissa, would you go to the next slide, please? Thank you. So this is a time of rapid change, right? As we can see here, physically, emotionally, socially, neurologically, and psychologically. You know, one day your kid is asking for a hug before school, and the next they're rolling their eyes and shutting the bedroom door on you. So what's happening during this time, right? Because middle schoolers, it's like kind of, you never know what you're going to get when they wake up in the morning or when they come home from school. It's like, it could be that all is amazing or everything is terrible in their worlds. So physically, their bodies are changing fast, right? Hormones are surging, growth is unpredictable, and it's often uncomfortable. Like, this alone can cause mood swings, as we've experienced, maybe even for ourselves when we were in middle school and high school. Fatigue is another, and irritability that can be hard to interpret as a parent. Emotionally, they're beginning to pull away from us and establish their independence, but they still desperately need safety and reassurance. And they want freedom and they want boundaries as well, but they also want connection and they want space. They want validation and they want, oh my gosh, sorry, I thought I was going to cough there. Validation and privacy. Socially, right? Peers are taking the center stage here. It's not the same as it was when they were in elementary school, right? That the parents, they want to hang out with us, and yes, they want to hang out with their friends too. But now it's really pushing away the parents to move in with peers, to really connect with them, and that it's just normal. Belonging for them becomes everything, or fitting in rather becomes everything. They start to wonder, do I fit in? Am I enough? What do others think of me? And the pressure is amplified by social media, by their group texts that they've got going on, and the 24/7 digital comparison game. Oh my gosh, that's going on all the time, right? I know I still feel the comparison game, right? With all of the access that we have, it's even that much harder as a young person. And then neurologically, their brains are undergoing a full remodel. The prefrontal cortex, the part that's responsible for decision making and impulse control and long-term planning, is under a full reconstruction. Meanwhile, the emotional centers of the brain are on overdrive, making them really reactive and sensitive and sometimes irrational. And then psychologically, they're crafting their identity, right? They're trying on different versions of themselves, sometimes even daily, right? They might wake up and say, I'm going to wear this kind of outfit today, or I want to do my makeup in this way, or I'm going to try this new hairstyle, or I'm going to listen to this music today, or, I'm going to watch these kinds of videos. It can be as drastic as every day, every week, and they're trying it on. And that's why you may feel like you're parenting a different person from one morning to the next, because you kind of are. And so are they. They're different from one morning to the next. And they're starting in that shaping of their identity and associating with peers and trying to fit in. They're seeking their tribe outside of the family unit. So Melissa, if you could change the slide again, please. So why are these years so challenging, right? It's hard for everyone. And what's going on is that they've got big emotions and even bigger reactions, right? We just talked about mood swings. There are emotional outbursts and sensitivity that are common due to those hormonal changes that are going on. Their brains are still developing emotional regulation. So everything feels intense. Something that may not have bothered them when they were in elementary school is now a thing. But just, it's because of the emotional regulation that is being developed. Everything is changing and everything feels so much more intense. And they may act impulsively. They might forget the routines or seem off without knowing why. Right? Their identity, as we mentioned before, is in flux. They're figuring out who they are, and that changes so often. They may try on different friend groups, interests, like I said, clothing styles, personalities even. They often feel torn between wanting to stand out and needing to fit in. And then there's social pressure and peer influence, right? Friendships are everything, and they're also really hard, right? Because they're trying to get peer approval, and it becomes even more important than parental approval. I want to make sure that, again, they're moving into this new place of trying to understand their tribe and feel safe in their tribe of their peers as they're dissociating from the tribe that they live in under your roof, right? They may encounter exclusion and drama or even bullying, and even more so than in person, online, if your kids are on social media and on phones and in those realms. There is so much that is showing up as they are expressing themselves in different ways, trying on these personas. And they're highly influenced by what they see other people doing, even if it's risky. That's something that really I needed to take in a lot, right? Personally, of them wanting to maybe try things because they see someone else doing it and not realizing that that is a very scary and risky thing to do. And then tech and screens and social media, oh my, right? Technology becomes their main mode of connection and their main mode of escape, right? As soon as they get those devices, it is so hard to pull away and go back into the hobbies and the interests that are not in a screen. It's just that it's challenging because their brains, as we talked about, are not fully developed yet, and they're seeing other people do this, their peers be on it, and this is how they're connecting nowadays, right? On whether it be on text or on Snapchat or in other places. And social media can trigger, if they're on these things, right, can trigger comparison, which is the bane of all of our existence, I feel like. FOMO, right, the fear of missing out as they're seeing their peers go to places and do things, and they're all together, right? A whole group of kids are together. Oh no, I wasn't invited. And anxiety, right? The anxiety around that because they don't feel like they fit in, or they've missed out, or they see something on someone or something that someone else has that they wish that they had. And all of these things can build up so much more anxiety around what I don't have, what I'm missing out on, what are others doing, etc. And they often struggle to self-regulate their screen time and can become defensive because, again, they don't know. And I noticed this a lot with my son specifically. that he had a hard time with his screen time limits, and one of my daughters as well. I should have mentioned I have an 18-year-old daughter who's in college, a 17-year-old daughter who's a senior at Archie Williams. I have a 15-year-old son who's a sophomore at Archie, and a 9-year-old son who's in third grade at Wade Thomas. And the screen time self-regulation was very challenging for both my second and third children, to the point where my now 17-year-old had learned that she could put her fingerprint on my laptop and change her screen time in the morning so that she could have all day access. So when she would take the bus to school, she could be on there on her phone while her friends were all on their phones too, and everyone else, so that she could have unlimited time. The kids are really smart in figuring out how to get around the screen time accesses, right? It's pretty nutty. So they will try and figure out how they can get more, whether that's on video games or on specific apps or just on the device in general. And the push-pull with parents, right? They crave independence, but still they need our guidance, right? And that's can seem very difficult to us because they're pushing us away. And that's when we need to lean in and be there even more, right? Because they're saying, leave me alone. But it doesn't mean I don't need you. It means I need space. But please still be there. Don't go far. And they won't say that out loud. They won't say, I need you to be close. I want you there when I need you. But they're needing some space. And they're testing boundaries. They're resisting rules. And they're pulling away emotionally, even if they still want connection deep down. So when your child starts to push you away, withdraw or talk back, or even seem like a stranger, it's not because you failed or anything that you've done, right? It's because this is a time of massive internal reorganization. They're in their becoming. But here's the good news, because you still matter a lot. The way you communicate, the boundaries that you hold, the love and presence that you offer, even when it seems unwanted, are all shaping how safe, excuse me, resilient and connected your child feels during these years, during this very critical period. So tonight we're going to talk about how to stay connected when it feels like they're pushing you away. Please excuse me. Apologies.
Jenna, no worries. Half the people in this room have their children's colds at the moment, so you take the time you need.
Sorry. Thank you, Jackie, for that. I apologize. Catching my breath. One more. All right, we're good. Thank you, everyone. Humaning. I have 2 sick kids in the house right now, so it was bound to happen. Whew. So we're going to cover practical strategies, real life tools, peer dynamics, and communication challenges with calm and with confidence. And you don't have to be perfect, because obviously no one is, and it's impossible to even try to be perfect. You just have to stay present. That's it. So what do they need during this time, right? What they need from us. So they need a safe place. They need for us to be consistent and hold that safety for them, and knowing that everything that they're going through is temporary. They need a safe place to explore their identity, the things that we just talked about, right? They're waking up one morning. They're waking up one morning and saying, this is who I am right now. I remember one of my daughters woke up one day and said, I'm going to be emo now, and had black eyeliner on and went and found some clothes, some like black clothes that had emo-y things on it. I was like, rock on, girlfriend. Try it on, try it on for size. I remember doing that myself. We need to be a safe place for them to be unsure and dysregulated, right? Because when they dysregulate, which they do often, right? When they're having their explosive big emotions, when they dysregulate, we have to be strong. We cannot allow for their dysregulation to dysregulate us, because that creates a foundation that is rocky for them. And it's really hard, right? Because their dysregulation could be so triggering, so triggering. They're coming at us with vitriol and claws, right? And it's like, no, if I am steady and show that doesn't affect me, then they know that they can allow themselves to be fully themselves, allow for all the things, and we're going to be right here, steady, stable. So it doesn't matter what happens in their world. They know that we're consistent and we are there for them. And that even if they get angry or they get upset, that we're not going to also get upset, and that we're just going to teeter-totter between all of that. We are steady for them, a place for them to land. And they need to know that we're solid, because when they have their emotional roller coaster, we're a safe place for them to land. And doing this creates the conditions also. Doing this creates the conditions where their friends will end up now coming and knowing that you're a safe place. And this has happened in our own home, in the high school years. Thankfully, we live close to the high school, but even if we didn't, I end up having high school kids here often. And it's not to say like, oh, if you're consistent and steady and, a safe place, that next thing you know, you're going to be the go-to place. That's not it. But when your kids' friends come and they see that you are consistent and that you are safe, they'll feel safe in that space too. So it's for your kid, for them. And then when your kid has that safety, they'll want to bring their friends over because they know that it's consistent. Oh my goodness. Apologies. Strong boundaries. Ooh, boundaries. That is the word. Holding our boundaries, right? That is in every area of life. Your kid might, push them, and they might push them extra hard during these years. I mean, not might, they will push them. But holding strong is the foundation, is having the boundary foundation for high school when things get harder. Because middle school, yes, elementary school, there's stresses and challenges. And what's the saying? Smaller kids, smaller problems, bigger kids, bigger problems. I don't like that language per se. I'd like to think simpler problems and more complex problems. Excuse me, one more time. All right, and we're back. More simpler problems, more complex problems. So setting those foundation, the boundaries around the things that are going on when the problems are more simple. When we have those strong boundaries when they're younger, as they're older, they understand where your boundaries are or where they're more flexible, and they'll know where to push. And as they get older, they push harder and on newer, different, more complex situations, right? Like partying, alcohol, drugs, or maybe something as simple, more like their curfew, right? The boundaries, it keeps happening. Because if you give a little, they're going to run with it, right? Flexibility is important, and sharing your why is important, right? Why the boundary? It needs to make sense to them. And if they can't understand the logic, it's because they're young. Of course, they're not going to fully understand the logic. But when we explain what's going on, and even if they push back, it's there. It's infiltrating them, the why. There's a metaphor I like to use, that the Grand Canyon wasn't made in a day, right? And that persistence wears down resistance. So as we keep saying our whys over and over, Why can't I stay out past 9 o'clock? Why? And the same answer every weekend. Random example. The more that we keep giving our answer and giving our why, that's going to make a carve in the canyon. And then eventually those neural pathways, right? It starts to be that is it's the same and it carves in as a permanent understanding, right? I'm doing this, I'm giving you this answer because here are my reasons. And I understand you're going to ask again. I'm going to invite you to remember the answer. And you can, if you want to keep asking, you can, but this is my answer is not going to change because you're going to ask me again. And I'm not going to allow your persistence of asking to wear down my resistance of saying no. So another part of this is about being the container that they can push against because they're wired to push, right? If you're inconsistent, their foundation will feel inconsistent and unsafe. So, and this can show up in so many areas. It can show up with technology, right? If they ask, oh, can I just have 15 more minutes? Right. Then and if you give a little here, you give a little there, inconsistency. And it's like, oh, are my parents going to be inconsistent with something that's somewhere else in life, right? Spending time with friends, video games, all of these things. We need in being that container to be pushed up against, having that strong boundary so that they know, okay, I have freedom and a framework here, right? There's the boundary here and I can push up against it and I can feel safe knowing, oh, the boundary isn't moving. If I push harder, it's not going to budge. I can feel safe in that. I know what to expect. The other is to know that they are seen, right? Telling them what you notice, right? Have them know that you're watching the good and the bad, right? It builds psychological safety that they know that they can't go off the rails without you noticing, that they can feel safe to make mistakes and mess up because you'll see and be there and call it out and help them. And it's a beautiful thing, right? To be able to say, oh my gosh, I saw that you locked in so hard on your homework and just got it done, right? Normally I have to ask you to, when you get home, to get your homework done, but you came home, you locked in, you got it done. I'm so proud of you for doing it, right? Or, right, you had to nag to get them to take a shower and they finally go in and take their shower, come out, put on their pajamas, do their teeth. And it's like, even though you were pushing and nagging, I'm so proud of you of going and doing and finishing off the rest of the night routine without me needing to ask. It's really awesome. Right, telling them when you're proud of them is so important for them to hear, for them to know, and to hear it even when they don't think that they can hear you, right? To overhear you talking about them in a positive way to your peers is fundamentally one of the best things that our kids can hear at any age, right? That we are proud of them, that we see them in this positive light. Because there's so much pressure on kids nowadays. There's so much. And to tell them that we see their potential and that you are doing all that you can to foster it as well, right? So even we can go back to a homework example, right? I know that you are so capable of taking on this new math assignment that you've got. It's hard at first, just like that last one that you did. It was really hard for you, but you asked questions, you figured it out, and you got through it. And I know that you're so capable of doing that here too, right? I know that you can do this, and I'm happy to help you to figure it out as well. Right? Seeing their potential and letting them know that they've done these things before, or it's something new, or they've ever overcome obstacles is really helpful to help them build that psychological safety and to know that they are seen, that there's something that you know that's coming in their future for them because they're amazing, right? Who they are right now is just a moment in time, and the moment in time is amazing. And they're capable and their potential is so high, right? Or even noticing it's not academically, right? Like My son the other day, he said, I don't want to go out to this. He got invited to a sleepover with a bunch of friends and said, I don't really want to go out. I'm feeling a little tired. I think I'll stay home and just relax. And I said, I'm so proud of you, right? For deciding to not go to the sleepover. You noticed that you were tired and that you didn't sleep well at a sleepover you had the night before. Um, I'm just really proud of you for noticing and recognizing what's best for you. Incredible. Right. So when they know that we see their potential and what they're capable of, then they see that too. It's a mirror back to them for them to say, oh, wait, I do have that potential. Oh, okay. And it gives them a little of goodwill inside for themselves. If we see it, we mirror that for them. We are that quiet inner voice inside of them, right? Like we can even think about for ourselves now, often we'll be presented with things and we'll have that inner voice that tells us, oh, you should do da 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 da. And often, if we think about who's that inner voice, who's that person talking to us, not our voice, it's usually a parent or a teacher or some other adult that in our past said things to us that really landed and made impact. So the things we say now it becomes their inner voice. Excuse me, one more time. Thank you again. All right. Um, Next slide, please. So, what can we do for them, right? Showing up for our kids where they need it most. So, one is maintaining the connection, right? Because relationships are shifting. They used to want to spend time with you. Now they don't. Now they think you're annoying or you just don't understand, right? It's easy to actually push them away and to just give them the space that they seem to want. But the best thing to do when they push you away is to still be there physically and emotionally. But how do we do that? Right? How do we be there when they're pushing us away or when we maybe don't want to be there ourselves? Because I've definitely experienced that where my kid is just vitriol, right? Fangs and all. And I'm like, wow, I didn't deserve that. I don't really want to be around, but this my kid's obviously going through something, right? Middle school, adolescence. What can I do to be there? So one is to be in a public area of the house, right? So when they're ready to come out and talk and they're maybe in a calmer state, they see you. You're right there. And this has happened time and time again. Oh my gosh, let me tell you, the amount of times is innumerable of that the kids are off doing their thing and I'm sitting at the dining room table and I'm working and someone comes out of their room and just starts telling me about their day. And I like, yep, go on, tell me what happened, what's going on, right? And then the next one will come out and tell me. And I'm like, if I hadn't been in that exact space, I would have missed all of it. They would have gone from their room to wherever they were planning to go. And if they didn't see me, they wouldn't have shared. And because it happens. I know my husband has said it. He's like, it was his office. He works from home. We both work from home, but he works out of one of the rooms. And he says, my door is always open, but it's not visually available for the kids in the same area that we're all with the kitchen and the dining area and all of that in the living room. And so they don't go down to go talk to him. But when he's up with us in the living space, then he hears all the things. Then they come and start talking. So to be in a public area of the house is amazing because then they see that you're there. You're not retreating. You're right there, ready to talk with whenever they're ready. You can also tell them that you're there, right? Even when they say, leave me alone, I don't want to talk to you, or I don't need you. You say, I love you and I'm here whenever, right? Whenever you need me. This happened a lot with my eldest. She has, I would say, even after the middle school years, big emotions. It probably amplified even more in high school. Big highs, big lows. And for her to be pushing me away and say, excuse me,
I want to hand a cough drop through the screen to her, and I can't. I'm sorry, Jenna. Like, I want to give you a Ricola through Zoom
That's a good idea. I should get a cough drop.
or work on the technology that would allow me to pass you one through Zoom. Take your time. Take your time.
One day we will get there. Ah, technology. Okay. Ah, okay. You can always call me. That is another way to maintain connection. You can be in trouble. You can be uncomfortable. They're in trouble. They're uncomfortable. I will always have your back. No questions asked. You can always call me, right? I am always there for you. And I can tell you that, and I'll share this at the end a little more, but we're setting our kids up right now in middle school for high school and beyond. And I started plugging this when they were in elementary school, actually, saying, thank you, Amy, when you're at a place that you don't want to be at anymore, whether because, again, you're uncomfortable or you're in trouble, you call me. I said, if you're at a sleepover and you just don't want to be there anymore with your friends, you can call me and you can blame me also. You can say, my mom doesn't want me to be here anymore for whatever reason. You can always blame me, right? Or you're at a party and there's in the future, because I remember talking to my girls when they were, I think it was fourth and fifth grade at the time, and then moving into sixth and whatnot. I said, there's going to be times where you guys are all together and things are happening around you that are going to make you feel uncomfortable, right? You can call me and say, here's what's going on, or I just don't want to be here anymore, and I will come get you. And if you want to talk about it, I'm open to it. And if you don't, that's cool too. But I am here for you no matter what is going on. So no questions asked. I've got your back. And to piggyback on that, you can always blame me for anything, right? You can say, my mom won't let me. And this comes up, I swear, even to this day, I swear, my 18-year-old over winter break, a friend of hers wanted to spend the night, and she's in front of me and she goes, oh, can Sarah spend the night? And she's looking at me like, say no. And I'm like, oh, sorry, no, not tonight. Can't spend the night. But because normally I'd be like, yeah, sure, whatever. Sarah spends the night here all the time. And she really just wanted to not have a friend over that night. I'm like, it happened still that she's leaning on me to be, and I think it's a beautiful thing that she knows that I will have her back no matter what her age, from when she was 6 years old to 18, and all my kids, that you can always blame me. My 9-year-old did this the other day. I guess he had made a commitment to someone to do a trade and then decided he didn't want to do the trade anymore and said, Mom, I heard that, you told the other kids, siblings, that we could blame you. He goes, so with this trade, could I blame you that you said that I am not allowed to make the trade? I was like, absolutely. You can blame me for sure. And he goes, awesome. Goes to school the next day, comes back and goes, Mama, oh my gosh, they said it was okay because you said it was okay. He was like, I didn't have to make the trade. I'm so glad. It's like, awesome, dude. Yeah. You can always blame me. And that's how we can build that trust and that connection together. Right. The second is to use the moments that we have, right, in the connection, right? There's not driving yet. So in the car, right, we have them and they can't go anywhere. They're in a contained space, right, in the car. In these moments that we have, these micro moments together, whether it's in the car or when they come out of the room and they just happen to see me there and they start chatting, right? That the thing to know here is that when they're ready to talk, as much as possible, drop everything and listen. Because they're not going to want to talk when it necessarily works for you in your timeline. When it works for them will be when they want to talk and when they want to share and open up and give you all the juicy goodness of what's going on behind the scenes that we can't see or that they're not sharing anymore. Right? Because more and more they won't want to talk when you want to talk. They'll want to talk when they're ready. And we need to be ready to receive that, right? And so to show them you are important to me and what you have to tell me is important to me. When they come in, when I'm at the dining room table working away, and they just start telling me about what's going on with their friends or whatever, I close the laptop, I lean in, and I go, yeah, tell me more. And when they talk, also asking how they want you to listen, right? Because often, especially with the big emotions, right, they just want to be heard. They don't want advice. And of course, when they're having a hard time, what do? We want to take the pain away. We want to give them all the wisdom and the advice and say, here's all the things that you can do that can make it easier for you, or you can navigate, this relationship so much easier, or how to navigate this text exchange that you're having, or, stuff that's going on at school, whatever it is. But often they don't want your advice. They don't want us to problem solve. They just want to be heard. And one of the ways to check in about this is to ask, how would you like for me to listen right now? Right? Would you like for me just to hold space? Would you like for me just to hear? Do you want me to just be here? Or do you want me to listen so that I'm thinking about how we can work on problem solving this together? Or do you want my advice? And I'd say probably 9 times out of 10, they just want to be heard, right? And that helps bridge that connection.
Jenna, about 5 more minutes until Q&A, if that works for you.
Perfect. I'm going to power through. Here we go. All right. So giving them language that they don't yet have. One of the best things that we did in our house when we had big emotions and we didn't know where they were coming from, and people are looking at each other, wait, did I do something to hurt your feelings? Oh, wait, did you do something? Like, we use the word banana. It means I'm upset and I don't have a reason for it. I just am. And so we gave it a word and said, if you're feeling this way and you're going around, like my girls would come around when they were younger in these years and to say, I'm feeling banana. When I'd be like, are you okay? What's going on? Like, I'm feeling banana. Cool. All right. I'll give you your space. I know nothing is wrong. You're just feeling banana. So what can we do for ourselves and what to remember as parents? We all go through these challenging times and come out the other side, right? Here we are. We all went through the middle school years. We all went through adolescence. Here we are. Some of the things that we can do is build relatability, right? Giving advice that you wish you had received growing up, and not necessarily saying, here's what you should do, but rather, here's something that I experienced. Here's a story of my own, or a story of a friend that had a similar situation, right? And telling them, like I said before, telling them that you see their potential, right? Building that relatability. Oh my gosh, I knew someone who had this same sort of challenge, and how amazing, like it means how great you can become on the other side, right? That we all go face challenges. And here are my own personal examples, right? When you're giving them examples of your stories from your life and what you wish that you knew. And then you can allow for them to, make the mistakes and learn from them rather than saying, here's what you should do. You can say, this is something that I experienced, similar scenario, and what I did about it. Right. Excuse me. Bringing them along on the process, right? I made this decision because, right? You may not like it, you may not understand it, but I do this for you because I love you, right? I put screen time limits on these things. I'm not allowing you to have social media until you're 16 because I love you, because the research, because these things. And sticking right, that persistence wears down resistance, that carving of the neural pathways, keeping it up, the why, the why, the why. But bringing them in the process and having it that it's not, that it iterates over time, right? The screen time thing being so big. Okay, you're getting older, you've been showing a little more responsibility, or you're saying you don't just want 15 or 20 minutes, you want a show's worth of time so that you can watch a show or you can do this thing. All right, great. Let's expand. Let's try it together. Let's monitor and see how that works. And if it seems that it's not working, let's go back. But if it is, great. Let's keep going with it. But bringing them on in the process helps them to see that you see their maturity and that they are being treated like young adults and not like little kids where you're just like, this is what's going on, the end, right? I made this decision because. Another thing you can do is just work on your own healing, right? And it's so important to remember what it was like for us during these years and with our own parents or the issues that we had in school. And when we work on our own healing inside of ourselves, we help them, right? Because as they change, we change also. And it's an opportunity to heal the parts of ourselves that are revealed or triggered through the experiences that they're having that we're witnessing. So things that we may have forgotten about or been disconnected from. Another is that it's our job to make peace with our past, right? Because we're mirrors, like I'd shared before, and because we're role models for them and we become that inner voice, they will act out what they see at home. So as we remember to exude the behaviors that we want to have them do, we need to first role model that at home. Another is to approach with curiosity. Approach their experience as though you're an alien, right? Learning about all this for the first time, being inquisitive and non-judgmental, but interested in them, right? Because they're changing so quickly. Overnight, they're, a different person, integrating new information, trying on these different identities, and they wake up every day different. And if we wake up every day with curiosity, who is this person today? Asking questions, being inquisitive and curious, we're not pushing up against that resistance forward on them thinking they're the same person, because we're not the same person we were a week, a month, a year ago, right? We're still changing as adults, we're still evolving, but they're just going at hyper speed, right? They're integrating information, they're learning every single day and bringing that into who they are right now, right? And when we do all of this, it helps them to feel safe at home, to share and not be judged, to feel seen and understood, to feel like they've got a sense of knowing who they are, that they are not alone in this journey. On this journey, they are free to be themselves, free to explore, because we're going to hold that container for them, that strong boundary container, and be that solid place for them to roll around and knock around and know that they're held. Right. And we're also building critical thinking because you help them see that they can think for themselves and they have the space to make the mistakes and to shift and evolve along the way, right? Which breeds in the end mutual respect. So next slide, please. So beyond middle school, right? All of this, everything that we just shared is all an investment in the long run, in the teenagers, in the young adults, in the adults that they will become, right? They may not be open and talk to you right now, but the more that you show up, the more that you're consistent and be strong for them, even when they're dysregulated and off balance, and the more all of that, right? The more they will feel safe to come to you as they continue to get older. And this will ripple out, as I mentioned, right, to their friends as well, that they will feel safe and seen and heard in your own home with their kids, that your kids will become safe places for their friends because role modeling and ripple effect. And the last thing to remember is that this is all temporary. None of this is permanent, right? They're trying it all out. This is all, it's all trial and error. And we as parents are investing in our future relationships with them as they are figuring it all out. So be real with them, relate to them, tell them your experiences and what you wish you knew, and let them come to their own decisions. We have to work on our own healing, and so we can be there for them. They're looking to us to see how to navigate conflict, confrontation, relationships, not to project ourselves onto them, but to allow them to be themselves. So thank you.